So the longtime president and CEO of the Providence Performing Arts Center announced last week that he'll be stepping down at the end of the year. Lynn Singleton has been running PPAC since 1983. Boston Globe columnist Dan McGowan joining us now to talk about the impact Lynn has had on the Rhode Island arts scene and the overall economy. You wrote that PPAC has become a keystone of this city that we live in, remarkably ambitious arts scene. So he really has had a big part in that.
Yeah, huge part. I mean, you got to remember going back, and this is before both of our times in a lot of ways, but the early 80s, we're not talking about Providence being a thriving community, and certainly not a thriving art scene either. One of the things he pointed out to me used to be that PPAC would do about 75, 80 nights a year of being busy having events, now doing 220 events. So, you know, he has really turned that thing around, and you've seen the city is much more vibrant when PPAC is healthy.
Yeah, it certainly is. So is it just he just wanted to turn it over to someone maybe with some fresh ideas, or he just wants to maybe enjoy his time a little bit more?
Yeah, I think he wants to enjoy his time a little bit more. He's got PPAC has a subsidiary that, you know, runs a bunch of different theaters all over the country. He's going to remain in charge of that, but you know, yeah, I think he was ready to hand it off. The guy he's handing it off to, Alan Chile, is somebody who has been there for 40 plus years as well alongside him. So it was kind of the right time for him.
Any major turning points or things that stick out that maybe brought PPAC from the level that it was at to now? I mean, it's probably a nationwide, well-known theater.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's the second largest, they say it's the second largest theater north of New York, right? So Boston obviously is the biggest, but other than that, it's the only game in town in a lot of ways. That was the exact question. The reason I wanted to talk to Lynn Singleton was, you know, what was the turning point? What made it all work? And he points to a bunch of different things. One, he gives a lot of credit to Bruce Sunland, the former governor, and Buddy Cianci, the former mayor. Tells a lot of great kind of behind the scenes colorful stories about those guys. But the other thing is they were able to land kind of big acts. You got Phantom of the Opera, you got Lion King, of course more recently you got Hamilton. And to be able to get those shows, what it does is, you know, it obviously draws people from all over, but it keeps people here from going to New York or going to Boston. One of the things he said to me was, it used to be that in the 90s, you'd have 14% of all receipts in Boston were from Rhode Island addresses. That's down to 4% now. So people are staying home because they have a reason to.
Yeah, why leave? So where does Lynn see live events like the kinds that are at PPAC in the future? Because it's a generational thing. Younger generation might not be as patient to sit through an entire show. They live in 15-second increments, swiping on Instagram. So where does he see it in the future?
Well, you know what? One of the things that was surprising to me is he said the best 2 years the theater ever had was after COVID. So they've had remarkable success and people coming back. But I asked that same question. I said, do people really want to go see, you know, a 2-hour show, intermission, whole thing? He said comedy is where everything is because of Netflix, because everybody's watching those, you know, 1-hour sets. He said he thinks comedy is huge right now. It's what young people want to be, and you're seeing time and time again they're filling up with comedy acts.
I like to laugh. I think that's a great idea.
You can do a set.
I don't know if it would be that funny.
No, it wouldn't be.
All right. Dan McGowan from the Boston Globe, as always, thanks for joining us. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week.
Happy Thanksgiving.